It's the Pesto Pod, the Pesto Pod, the Pesto Pod.
Did you ever make out with anyone physically at Mercy? Not a Mercy student.
A girl? My bi-curious era?
You want to talk about that?
Did I make out with a boy in the grounds of Mercy? Yeah.
Me too.
Who?
We're not going to name names on this, are we?
Give me a first initial.
C?
Oh my god. On the grounds? I know people who had sex on the grounds.
Not me.
Definitely not me. Sorry. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Pesto Pod. My name is Julia Leahy. You might know me on TikTok as @morepesto. Please. Today I am joined not by a TikToker or internet person, but by one of my very best and oldest friends, Spags. Everybody. Her name is also Julia.
Also Julia.
But we call her Spags in this house.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. My name's Julia Spags.
Spags.
Spags on this podcast. And I've known Julia since the 2nd grade. So I love this girl to pieces, and I'm so glad to be here. This is so exciting. On
so
International
exciting.
Women's Day of all days.
On International
too.
Women's Day.
I took the day off just to celebrate and be here.
For Ruth.
for
RBG. I wanted to
and
talk
like
about
Julie Andrews and like Meryl Streep too.
RBG and Julie Andrews, two
The only
women
people I
that
care
are
about.
international that I honor every day by living a godly life. And Meryl, yeah.
And Meryl.
And really,
And just girls.
girlies.
Girls.
I wanted to talk today about something that is so prevalent in my upbringing, and that is Catholic high school.
And mine too, which is why I'm here.
Julie and I actually have been going to school together. Well, no, we didn't go to college together, but we went to school together for
we went to
12
Catholic college
years straight.
too, though.
I did go to Catholic college. We went to Catholic school for 12 years straight. Went to the same Catholic elementary school that was like a little barn that was attached to a church that had like
Little parish
16
school.
other kids at it. I didn't particularly love it over there.
No, yeah. I think we all had our own experiences there.
We all had our own experiences
that were
over
special
there.
and unique in their own way.
Spags was an altar server.
Altar server. I altar served through the 12th grade, so if you were keeping track, that's age 18.
That is so
Yeah.
embarrassing.
No,
Tell no one.
Tell no one. I'm just gonna tell everyone on the internet, actually.
If listen, a lot of people choose to send their children to Catholic school because it's like smaller and more of like a community and stuff. You don't necessarily have to be super Catholic, but you will get Catholicism shoved up your ass. Indoctrination a little bit. I did know the Hail Mary before I knew how to spell my name.
Yeah. And looking back, it's like take it or leave it, and some of it you leave.
Some of it you leave.
And now this is what we're taking. This is what we've taken away.
But we're gonna specifically talk about. This is actually. We just tried to shoot this podcast, and we decided we talked way too much about Catholic elementary school.
Yeah.
And our Catholic high
There's
school.
a lot of ground to cover here.
There's so much ground to cover. Our Catholic high school to me has the most lore.
Most lore. And I think it has a special place in our heart, too.
Do you think you peaked in high school? Sometimes I think I did.
No.
Okay. Sometimes I'm scared I did because I was
Yeah,
like,
tell me how great you thought you were.
no, stop. It's because I was like one of the few people who could sing. So I was like cast in the leads, and I was like, wow, it was nice to be cast in things.
I did not sing.
We were very similar, though.
Yeah, I read the morning announcements at our high school.
You did?
And I did the prayer.
Did you know that, Cousin Rebecca?
Cousin
Rebecca's over there. Hello. She's not anyone's cousin. She's my cousin in my heart.
Rebecca,
Her name is Rebecca, though. Every morning, Spags would be on the announcements. Hello, Mercy. Can
please
bitchy McGee cunt please come down to the office? And
it was
so
always
forth.
someone with the longest name too. Like I would have to be like,
Yeah.
please come down to the office. And I would say, good morning, please stand for the pledge and prayer.
Did you have to say the pledge and prayer?
No, Izzy did. Izzy
Izzy
did the
Quindy?
pledge. Yeah.
Oh my god, hi, hey Izzy.
Hey Izzy. And there was always some other girlie sometimes coming in to do the prayer.
This is the craziest thing that when I tell my friends who didn't go to Catholic school, they like can't wrap that. Did you go to Catholic school, Cousin Rebecca?
No, I went to public school.
Oh my god, okay. Try to wrap your head around
So
this.
we have someone normal here, everybody.
I know, a normie. Try to wrap your head around this. Every single class period, we started with prayer. That's 9 times a day you're praying.
Yeah, and there's a big one in the morning.
Big fat one in the morning. And if
And
you ever
we
had
have
Miss
church.
Kearney's AP Lang 11th grade English class, her prayers would go for at least 10 minutes. 'Cause
And
she would freestyle.
And another thing. And
she'd
another
be like,
thing.
and for the women in Japan who are struggling with that. And I'm like, really? We
I
gotta
was
put
like, wow,
everything,
there's a world crisis
everything
I
on this
didn't
list?
know about.
Like, it's crazy.
I just learned current events from this.
I know. No, it was so current events. And
But the
then-
announcements, like when people would be like making the morning announcements, it would be like, and another nun has passed away, so there's gonna be a funeral in the mother house.
oh my
today."
God, this is something that everyone
Everyone
is so
should know.
shook
So
by.
be like, okay, there's a funeral in our school today.
So our high school was physically adjoined to the mother house, which is like where the
the
convent,
Sisters of
the
Mercy.
sisters lived.
Sisters.
And our specific like little mother house was used as a hospice
well,
for like
there
dying
were a lot
nuns.
of old nuns that lived. in
I
the
don't
mother
know if
house.
it was like full blown like a hospice.
People
but,
dying
like,
left and right.
people were
but-
always dropping dead. And the thing was, you had to kind of cut through the convent part to get to
the middle school.
the middle school, which is where the languages were taught.
In high
So
school,
like
yeah.
if I had to go to Spanish class, I had to like pass through these nuns. And so they'd be like, Senora Cullen's third period Spanish class, there's going to be a funeral going on. Please proceed quietly. Can you believe in
You'd
the middle
walk
of the
to
school
class.
day, we'd walk through a funeral procession in our little uniforms? Do you believe that?
And you had to be dead silent. So you'd be like,
It was
Under
so
one glass.
like no one can wrap their head around it. And like no
well,
one can,
and you'd
no one
see like nuns who were seeking medical treatment. You'd see them getting like pushed in their
wheelchair, yeah, a lot of
Like,
wheelchair
so we're
actors.
sharing the hallway with
No,
like
no, and I'm like, I'm
the
late for
woman
class.
with
Like,
the
push
walker and the
faster.
tennis balls, and we're just merging
I'm like,
to the
I'm
right.
gonna be late for Spanish. Like, can you please wheel a little faster?
Yeah.
No, but I think people who didn't go to Catholic school are just shook altogether that we were
Yeah.
taught by nuns
Oh,
and
yeah.
like surrounded by nuns. And there was one old nun in the convent who still wore a habit. Do you remember her?
No,
Okay. Once in a while, I catch a glimpse of that little chica, and she's in her
Little
habit.
chica.
Yeah,
Chica.
she's probably dead
but
now.
honestly though, like they weren't like rulers, doom and gloom. Sisters of Mercy, like Sisters of Mercy are pretty cool.
Yeah, they're
cool-
actually pretty
cool broads.
Pretty cool broads. They are really passionate about the environment
And social justice.
and social justice, except they don't love the gays.
Let's ignore that part. Ignore that part.
Yeah, that's one thing that my reservation about going to Catholic school is that I recognize that I'm a very privileged white middle class girl. If I was a person of color or a like LGBTQ
Marginalized group
girly,
of any kind, yeah.
I imagine my experience would have been completely different.
Definitely. I mean, I think if two people looked at us coming down the street, they'd be like, oh yeah, those girls went to all girls Catholic high school.
I mean, we are the clip art poster girls for Catholic.
Like
high school.
typecast. We could be in Dairy Girls. Like we could be in the
Dairy
background.
girls. It doesn't matter that your bits are different than my bits. Being a dairy girl is a fucking state of mind. Did you like that?
Wait,
She's an actress.
What's the nun's name? Sister
Michael? Nope.
Oh, Michelle.
Fat fucking hell, Michelle. No, sister Michael?
Sister Michael, but there's someone else.
Sister George Michael.
Sister.
That's her name.
Is it? That's
It
hilarious.
is. It is. So we didn't have Sister George Michael at our Catholic school.
I was
but-
just gonna say, isn't George Michael the guy who sings Karma Chameleon? But that's Boy George.
Yeah, and we also didn't go to school in Ireland during the Troubles.
No,
either.
true. We went to all girls Catholic school in 2015.
Yep. Which, if you were there in 2015, it was a crazy time too, because it was the rise of Donald Trump.
Oh my God. So that's one thing I also didn't this is good. We're getting the negatives out now, and then we can try
we're
to
airing
redeem it.
It's the airing
What's
of
the
the
airing of the
grievances.
grievances, the Festivus for the rest
The
of us.
Festivus for the rest of us. Yeah.
Very, very conservative families.
Not everyone, but
No, not everyone.
Which-
me
but,
and
like,
you, 100%
we
the
were always
minority.
like, whoa.
Yeah, because our school would send a group of girls to Washington to march for pro-life.
Pro-life.
Excuse? How come no one's sending a bus to march for pro-choice? Is what I want to know.
Yeah. I believe that question was asked and denied.
They also tried. I believe they have one now, if I'm not mistaken. But when we were there, they tried to start a gay-straight alliance, and administration
That
was
didn't
like,
go
"Let's
well.
not."
That's okay.
Which is terrible. But I believe they have one now. Except, and I will say this because I don't care who's watching, there is one teacher that is still working at our old high school that is a known homophobe, and she's a bitch, and she should be fired.
You said it all. I didn't say anything.
So you know, that's like not cute of them. But again, we made through our time.
You make your way.
and we made the best of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you and we also had a great time because we took advantage of like the opportunities to get involved a lot. So we were very involved.
Spags and I ran for president and vice
Sophomore
president
year.
of our class sophomore year, and we did not get voted mainly because Spags made the vote for Julia buttons and
vote for Julia squared for sophomore class presidency,
and
which is a lot to put on a button. I've learned
she
since
spelled
that you shouldn't
sophomore wrong.
Apparently,
there's
an
another
extra
O.
So immediately people
So
were like,
we were not voted for. But
do we think that's why though?
Yeah.
I'm still going back. I'm looking the polls.
Well, it could also be that like I don't think people liked me very much.
Yeah.
It could also be that I wasn't well liked.
Maybe. No, just kidding.
Maybe that sounds like it could be it.
Probably like, let's pick the girl who sings at church and the girl who says the morning prayer, and let's make them in charge of our class.
I'm not. Can I disclaim on my behalf? I'm not a particularly religious person, but I will say that a church song can be a bop if you.
Do you know? Are you
have the
thinking of the
harmonies
one
right?
I'm thinking of?
Pan de vida, cuerpo del Señor. Yeah, that one. I also
Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night and just think about that song?
unfortunately,
Yes.
yeah, it plagues me. I think about that one and I think about soon and very soon we are going to see the king. And then I nut a little bit.
Yeah, just like God intended.
Just like God intended, truly, when he wrote Pan de Vida.
Himself.
But yeah, it was a very unique high school experience that we had, especially because we did have to go to church like at least every month.
At least every month, definitely on like special days, you had to go to church.
Yeah, like feasts.
But that was like kind of an opportunity to throw down. Also, like you were singing.
Well, it's like you got out of class, which is nice.
Yeah. And the rest of us were just doing Catholic aerobics, standing up and down 600 times.
Standing up and down, and
but you
would
could
like
sing that song and you could feel renewed.
I would sit there and I would be like, how many spirals can I count
on
in
this
the carpet?
carpet.
I'd be like, let me bite off all my brand new acrylics.
Yeah. There'd be people like trying to see how many times they could roll their uniform skirt. You would know when people were bored in church.
Also, I just want to say, our like junior and senior year was like a huge year for vaping. I think vaping in high school just became popular. It was like 2018.
Yeah, and no one's moved past it
Vaping
since.
was huge, and so everyone was vaping in the bathrooms.
Not us though, because we're children of God. Obviously.
Well, I did own a vape. I never brought it to school because I was like, why the fuck would I do that?
Because people were stupid.
But here's the thing. I did own a vape, and then I the battery like died and I didn't have the charger and I literally never used it again.
It's kind of like a vibrator.
Can you listen to me? That's the story I'm going to tell. Listen, my father is helping me was like helping me out one day. I was really stressed and he's like, I'll switch your laundry over for you. And I was like,
God,
okay,
I
that's really
remember
kind
this.
of you. And he's switching my clothes into the dryer and he comes across my old I don't even think it was a Juul. I think it was a Juno. Ever heard of a Juno?
I saw yours.
Once
so
again,
I
vaped simply because people were vaping and I wanted to be cool. I was never like...
You didn't like bring it... you didn't like bring it to school and had it under your uniform?
No, that's crazy. That's like you are really fucked if you have to bring your vape to the
To
Catholic
school.
school. That is so bizarre. But I know people who did. And
Well, yeah, because it became a problem at school.
Yeah, people vaped in the bathrooms quite a lot. And then they were like...
Someone fell off the toilet fell off the wall because someone was...
Oh my God, yeah, someone was standing on it.
Someone was standing on the toilet so that the
so
smoke
would
detector...
go out the window?
Like, and it would go out the window and the toilet fell off the wall.
That's so right. You're totally
It's like
right.
a plumbing problem.
You're totally right.
But
wait.
your dad...
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Jeff
my dad
found the pen.
finds my Juno that had like been through the wash or whatever, and he is like, Julia, come here, and he gives it to me, and I'm like, oh shit, like, because I'm like 16. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get caught vaping.
Man.
And he was like, if you have any feminine products, please take care to make sure they're not in the wash. And I was like, what the fuck does he think this is? It's like clear. It's got like a battery pack. Like clearly, it's not like a tampon. He thinks it's a vibrator.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
The fact
and
that
has nothing to do with Catholic school.
No, but the fact that he approached you about it too is just
and I was like,
blows
okay,
my
sorry.
mind.
And then we never spoke about it.
Yeah.
I wonder if he even knows that happened. But I did have a vape for about 3 months.
Yeah.
Of my life.
I remember going with a friend she was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And we threw it into the lake. Threw it into Lake
A burial
Ontario.
at sea.
It was like a whole ceremony. It was like probably religious also.
A
Catholic
prayer.
guilt.
Catholic guilt.
Yeah. So
Our high school was very interesting in that it was like really small, so I think like everyone kind of developed like friendships with your teachers, which I don't think is a public school thing because I'm friends with all of them on Facebook now.
they're probably all watching this right now.
Probably. Hey,
Hey,
Miss Mel. Mrs.
How's
Melton
it
was
going?
our math teacher who chaperoned our senior year trip to Guyana.
Julia and I went to Guyana, South
The
America.
nuns that ran our high school ran an orphanage in Guyana, and they like we've said before, looking back, probably pretty white savior.
Poverty tourism.
Poverty tourism, but it was supposed to be so we could like see the facilities.
It was branded as a service immersion faith-based experience.
It was. I don't think we
It was
did much
something
service. Although we did like when we flew over, we had like suitcases full of like clothes and stuff that we left with them.
Yeah.
But I don't think we
Well, we
particularly
weren't gonna
made
fly all
a
the way
mark.
there though, just to do that.
No. We were supposed to like.
Which, if you've ever flown Caribbean Airlines,
And if you've ever flown with Mrs. Melton, Mrs. Melton hated flying.
I don't recommend flying.
She was like
Caribbean
panicking,
Airlines.
and I was like, "You're the teacher."
Yeah,
I
telling
love
us
her
that
though. I had so many laughs with her, and we have already talked about this story.
But we're gonna talk about it again.
But when we were in Guyana, the food that we ate was all served hot, and it's like 108 degrees, and I
It
was
was
like,
hot.
I would do anything for like cold food, but we were told not to eat any like produce.
That was like, we took malaria shots, took pills.
Yeah,
like,
we took a lot.
did all
of,
the
they
things
really
before we left.
took a lot of
They
precautions.
gave us very strict instructions: do not eat food that you're not instructed to eat.
And even the water was like brought in. We weren't supposed to like drink from the tap. So water was brought in like those like office cooler things, but they were always room temperature and it's like 100 degrees.
Yeah,
so
there
like
was a lot
I was
of
like,
sweating.
I just want something cold on my tongue. And we were in a taxi with Jason, the taxi driver.
Yeah, so for context, we had two kind taxi Guyanese drivers who drove us around over the course of the week that we were there. And Jason, kind of think Jason Derulo. Jason!
Our theory is that Jason maybe had the hots for a couple of us, which is
Not
confirmed.
okay.
Well,
Not
it's
okay.
confirmed also because he asked us if we wanted to go get beers after like
And
we
people-
visited the orphanage.
Yeah,
we were like, we're
some
good.
people paused on
Some
that
people were like,
a little
should
too
we?
long.
I was like, we can't.
I was like, well, we're underage and we're here with our math teacher, so
and,
maybe
and a
not.
nun and a nun.
And a nun,
So
Sister Jenny.
maybe we shouldn't. But he was like, I can get you guys ice cream, and it was like very suspicious.
It was, I know where
We were
to
like,
find ice cream.
You know how to
Which,
get ice cream
if someone
around
tells
here?
you they know where to find ice cream, not let's go for ice cream.
I know.
I know where to find the ice cream. That's sketchy.
So at the end of the day, he dropped us off at the retreat center, and he's like, if you guys go in the trunk, there's a black bag in there with like what you asked for, and we're like, okay, solid. So you know, to the unknowing eye,
we pull in the retreat center. It
you
looks
see
like a
you
drug
see
deal.
these girls grab a black bag and then run away from the Guyanese taxi driver, and Mrs. Melton. Well, we get to our room, we unbox this strawberry ice cream,
In
and
secrecy, of course.
it was the color and taste and texture of Pepto-Bismol. It was so disgusting.
Some of us came to our good senses and said, maybe we shouldn't eat this unsolicited ice cream from a man we don't know.
But some of us said, cold, delicious, sweet deliciousness,
Dairy
and
free.
shoveled it into our mouths so much
believe
that it
that
was
was the
dripping
sound.
down our faces.
Yeah. I was
Um,
tucking myself into bed. I was getting in my little malaria net for the night.
Well,
and
and
then in the dark.
I know. Stop. It was so gross, but it was so delicious in that moment. Mrs. Melton knocked on the door and was like, I don't want to know what's in the bag, but like someone needs to look me in the eye and tell me that it's not an illegal substance. And we were like, it's strawberry ice cream. And she was like, are you guys fucking serious? And then the next day, we were taking a taxi to a
You got a little rumbling and grumbling.
tour of a jungle.
Well, we were looking forward to this day because it was the one day when it was
We
like
were like allowed
biking
to like we
and
did
swimming,
like
and we were going in the
swimming and
jungle
stuff.
and we were doing fun stuff all day. It was like kind of our break day a little bit. It was fun.
Yeah,
I
and
was looking forward to it. And then
I said, Jason, pull over, please.
and I was not in Jason's car. I was in the car.
Yeah, so Jason phoned the other car and was like,
Sister
vomit,
Jenny
vomit,
just says there's a
vomit.
student who's getting very sick. We pulled over.
And then I threw up fluorescent pink Pepto-Bismol on the
the side
Guyanese side.
highway.
And then Miss Melton gave me peppermint oil to put on my temples. And I was like, thanks, Queen. Does anyone have fucking Tums? But okay.
Anything over the counter? No.
No, but wait, really sincerely, when we got back from Guyana, we were all like really, really tired and sad. And we just flew.
We had to go to school the next day.
So we like flew like a 9-hour flight from Guyana. And then
we crossed the border too. We flew into Toronto.
Canada, you're right.
We had to go over the border, come back.
You're right. So then it was like another 3-hour drive.
It made it sound like we crossed the southern border.
No, I know. But it was
we didn't do that.
Such an emotional day because we had to say goodbye to these like kids that we met, and then we flew home, and then we went to school, and they said the counseling office at school is
the wellness center.
The wellness center. I'll get into that in a minute. Is reserved today for all the girls that just came back from Guyana because they're like having a tough day.
Freaking sucks for everyone else.
Sucks for everyone else, but whatever.
On the trip.
So they're like, Guyana girls, if you need to leave class and like take a moment to collect yourself or like rest for a second, like go for it. I go into the wellness center and who's in there sitting in the dark? Mrs. Melton, the math teacher. I'm like, hey girl, and then I cried and hugged her and I left a tear stain of mascara on her dress.
Yeah. I think we all put our heads together that day and we were like, how can we make this better? We can just say we need to be in the wellness center.
It was kind of a slay. We got out of class.
It was kind of a slay.
And then I had to go on the fucking show choir trip the next day.
Yeah. You had to come to New York, right?
I went to New York.
Now you live here.
Now I live here. Yeah. In high school, my choir would go to New York City every year. And one year we were in New York on April 20th, which everyone might know is the national holiday of marijuana.
Thanks for reminding everyone.
Yeah,
too.
no worries. And we were in the hotel and it like reeked of weed. And I'm pretty sure it was like probably one of us on the trip that was smoking it.
Probably was.
But the chaperones were like, we need to find a new hotel. And they were like losing their minds. I was like, can we have respect for the holiday?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Respect. It's funny, like you weren't on this trip, but you didn't do youth in government, did you?
No, I did not.
Okay, so I did
that is such a
government.
youth thing. Youth in government.
Okay, it's funny because
I was Model UN.
I was traumatized after my 1 year of youth in government, which is funny because I now work for the government.
Sure.
But it's silly because we were in the hotel and we went, our group, it was a program through the YMCA, so it wasn't like our high school, but it was also like all the girls from our high school and all the guys from the all guys school did this together. So it was kind of like a de facto Mercy McQuaid thing. And so we were on this trip and there was a group of kids from McQuaid and you made like fake bills. It was kind of like a mock trial type of thing. And they had a bill that was to rename the town of Pickett, New York to Lochte because they said that Pickett was the name of a Confederate soldier, and to be like respectful and accurate, they needed to change it after this like Native American chief Lochte.
Okay.
They made the whole thing up. It was fake. There was no General Pickett of the Confederate Army, and Lochte was Ryan Lochte the swimmer.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So they figured this out, but mind
I've never heard this.
No women were involved in this because we're not stupid. So. But it was all of us. So, of course, the girls had to take the hit for the guys, too. And so our group got everyone who was on this trip. So there were, 50 kids from our two schools on this trip got in so much trouble.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious.
So the guys got jugged, which, for people who don't know, it's justice under God.
Oh, that's right. Jug. That was the name of detention.
Which sounds scary, and it probably is. Yeah.
I'm like, I got jugged this weekend. You got justice under God.
Justice under God.
Isn't that crazy?
Which sounds as crazy as it
we went to
actually
a cult.
is. Yeah. But can you... Lochte.
No.
They made this whole thing, all this text past it, because people are like, this is great. We're renaming things. We're making amends with our past. And there's no such thing as General Pickett, Pickett, New York, and there is no Native American
Is there a
chief.
Pickett, New York?
I don't think so. I don't even think they looked.
Look it up, cousin.
Yeah, cousin Rebecca's looking it up right now.
That's so funny.
But everyone was like, "This is genius. They're gonna win."
That is so funny.
Yeah,
I was
screamed at, and a kid bought. You ended up dating this kid. $500 worth of Chinese food for everyone on the trip.
Oh, I think I've heard this.
Yeah,
I think I've heard about that.
And the girls took the hit for that one too, because he was going door to door after hours, and we were taped in. Our doors were taped shut, and he was coming and delivering sesame chicken and fried rice to us after hours.
Funny.
Individually. And I don't know who had that credit card, but it was a $500 So when we got back from this trip, it was like,
I
all
knew
the
he,
girls
I knew
were
he
like,
did that.
yeah.
There's not a picket in New York.
No way, there's no pick
no
in
pick
New
in New
York.
York.
But there's a picket building materials in Oneida.
Oneida, yeah.
I bet I wouldn't be surprised if that's how they were
That
like,
is so funny.
the math ain't mathing over there.
There's something else that reminded me of that. I was in Model UN, and one year I actually did win an award, like a delegate award. But one year they
Cool.
were giving out. No, shut up. They were giving out awards, and guess what award I got? Best hair. At
They did best hair
at Model UN.
like a mock foreign relations diplomacy club, and they
Best
give
hair.
best hair.
Can you believe?
Sounds
And,
like
and not
sexism
for
to
nothing,
me.
that was in my worst hair era. So I was like kind of proud of myself for pulling that off. Because that was in my
Wow.
greasy fake blonde era.
I remember.
It's
It's okay. I strictly wore Lululemon headbands to school for like
I did
2
love
years.
a Lulu phase,
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
There's also like a phenomenon called the Mercy Bun. Because
Mercy
there's
Bun.
no guys at our school, so it
Fun
was
Bun
like
Friday.
Fun Bun
Fun
Friday.
Bun Friday.
There's no guys at our school, so it was like
Who gives?
who fucking gives a
Yeah.
shit? So no one like did their hair or really even put makeup on, but
Sometimes
but
people
would do
didn't-
like messy buns.
Didn't shower either. Like that.
Sure. I know some girls who wore bathing suits under their uniforms
You ran
because they
out
didn't
of
have any
underwear.
clean underwear. I
It's okay.
liked wearing
My
a
roommate
uniform.
Grace, I love Grace. Grace did that like last year.
And I don't doubt it. I've
to a
met
bar.
Grace and I can picture her doing
Yeah.
it.
Grace
Um,
also went to all girls school. If that's helpful.
Oh, I knew that too.
Yeah.
Did you like wearing a uniform?
I did.
I did too.
I think I think I woke up my first day of my freshman year of college and I was like, well, where are my
Well,
khakis?
It's just
Like,
so mindless. Like you don't have to
so
think about it.
mindless,
You can be
and I
half
didn't
asleep
care.
and get dressed. And
I think it's taken me till my 23rd year to develop a sense of style, and we're still working on it.
want to know
Hides
something?
clothes.
One time, I went to. I think I was a freshman or sophomore, and I got on the bus. Which first of all, I hated taking the bus because the public school kids would make fun of
Yeah.
me.
So if you went to Catholic school, you had to transfer. Which Julia and I are from the same town,
Yeah.
but shout out
Sure. Webster, New
Webster,
York.
New York, where life is worth living. Great
Love.
slogan.
But I was on the bus and I was like half asleep, and then I got into Mercy and walked in the front doors of Mercy and realized that I didn't have contacts in. Like I had made it through the entire, like I couldn't see.
There were times I woke up and I'm like, oh my god, I didn't put a bra on to go to school.
Well, you could get away with that.
Thank you. To everyone out there, I can get away with it.
For me, that was pre-boob job. I had huge fucking
I remember
tits.
you talking about I'm gonna get a boob job someday, like in the middle of our lunch.
Breast
period.
reduction, by the way. They didn't need to be any bigger. Breast reduction.
Breast reduction.
I got those shits fucking sawed off, and I don't regret it for 1 second. That's neither here nor there.
Unrelated to our experience.
Well, it's just so funny. Catholic girls' school, sometimes it felt so fake. I was like, we don't go to a real school.
Yeah.
I said this when we're in the middle of class and someone's like, does anyone have a tampon? And when Maddie Burl is showing me her cupping
on her back.
this is where
like,
I got my
fully
cupping
pulled up
in
her
the middle
shirt.
of AP Gov. I'm like, are we serious? And I used to just
I
like
would-
wander.
I would,
Were
like-
you a wanderer?
Yeah.
I'd be like, can I go to the bathroom? And be like, I think I'm gonna go fucking 3 stories up to go to the bathroom. Wander through the halls. And this is listen, call me a teacher's pal all you want. I was really close with the theater teachers, Bianchi and Gizzy. Hey girls. And
They're definitely watching this.
They're
too.
definitely watching because I have 6 friends currently and 2 of them are them. I still keep in contact with them, and
Hopefully
I talk to
one
them
of
all
them
the
is
time.
also me.
Oh, sure, you can be on the list. Sure.
7.
Sure, yeah, we'll add one on.
Lucky
for you.
number 7.
And they would like. Luckily, it was so nice. Like my senior year, like close to the end, they'd like pop their heads into the classroom and be like, "Is Julia Leahy in here? We need to borrow her for like children's theater." And
Special project. I
I'd
think
be
was
special project.
Special project.
I'd be like, "Oh my god!" Like if I must go,
And I'd be sitting behind her, and I'd be like, "This bitch."
and I would leave, and then they'd be like, "Fucking what's up, bitch?" And then we'd like take a nap.
And I'd be there like doing my primary, secondary sources, like
Yeah, whatever.
whatever.
I did have some trauma though because I had the worst math teacher in the history of the world.
Yeah, I had her too. I think I fared a little bit better, but that's just 'cause
yeah.
I didn't say anything.
Well, she used to yell at me until I cried, and then she'd be like, "Julia, stand up," and then I'd stand up, and she'd be like, "Look, everyone, Julia is
It's
crying." I'm like, "Are we serious?" It was so horrible.
I just remember.
And then wait, no.
Okay.
One day I hit my breaking point. She yelled at me, and I stormed out of the classroom. She's like, "Where do you think you're going, young lady?" And I was like, "Fuck you!" And I walked out of the classroom, and I went to the cafeteria. I bought a quesadilla.
And I'm in study hall, so I'm sitting in our senior lounge.
I'm going to the
Senior
cafeteria.
lounge was a
Tears
generous
streaming
term.
down my face.
She comes in, tears streaming down her face with half a quesadilla, and she's eating it.
And then
She's like, I got yelled at.
I go to the guidance counselor, and I actually, you might not know this, I didn't know her very well. I know everyone's probably like, oh, Julia's in the counselor though. But I never went to the guidance counselor because I would always just go to the black box.
You had your the black box wasn't black box theater. Black box sounds like people were like locking you up in a box.
No. I went to the guidance counselor. This woman barely knows me. I think she was new that year. Mrs. Thomas. I don't know.
I think she was
barely
not
knew her.
new that year, but
okay. Well, I didn't know her. I walk in. I'm like, I'm not going back in there. You can't make me. I'll take an F. Like I was like, I'm not going back to math class. I'm not doing it. And she was like, holy shit. Okay.
And it was like March. Like there was no, you weren't changing classes. You were halfway through.
I know. No, I was like, you can. I will not go back in there.
You were halfway
I won't
through
do it.
like algebra 2.
I was like, fail me. I'll do senior year again. I will not go back. I will not look at that woman in the eyes. And then she was like, okay. And she went up with me to
Put
the
that
classroom.
thing back where it came from, or
she brought
so
me back
help
to
me.
the classroom, and class was just getting out, so people were like leaving the room, and they were like, she's really mad at you, which means that she was talking about me after I left.
Yeah.
You can't talk shit about a student to your whole class after they're not in the room anymore, bitch. so she went in there, and the counselor was like, hey, let's figure this out.
She was probably trying to diffuse the situation.
And the counselor called her by her first name because they're teachers that work together and they're colleagues. And the math teacher, who I won't name to protect her identity, because if not, I'd fucking, I don't know.
Your viewers are going to be coming with pitchforks and flames.
Yeah. I would pitchfork her in a second. She was like, please call me by my like Mrs. whatever in front of the students. And then like the guidance counselor was like,
if you said her last
so
name, could you
serious?
bleep it out?
No, I can't figure out how to do that.
Bleep.
I know I majored in television, but I'm just not really technically savvy. And so she was like so disrespectful. And then the woman looked at me and was like, if you can't handle being yelled at in this class, maybe you need to be on some sort of medication.
Which was
a
crazy.
teacher said that to me. And then the counselor was like, I hope you don't speak to your students this way. And I was like, yeah, pop off, queen, pop your pussy. And then it ended by her like conceding and being like, okay, whatever. Like,
there's
you're not.
Showdown going down in the
It
hallway.
was such a showdown.
It wasn't the first time that
and then
happened.
when I left, I cried and hugged the counselor. No, didn't even know someone. I was
Didn't
like, thank you, and I hugged her. and then
she was probably supposed to like help you apply to
colleges, and I'm like, take me out of math class. I was like losing my mind. That woman cost me years of my life. And my mom recently ran into her at BJ's and sent a picture. Not ran into her, but like saw her and sent me a picture and was like, do you want me to say something? And I was like, yes, do it.
Did your mom say something?
No, she didn't.
Kara!
I was like, are you kidding me? The one time I needed you to step up, I needed her to go up to her and be like, you are a horrible person. My daughter hates you. But she didn't. Although recently when I was home like a year ago, I saw her on the highway. I was driving on the highway. I was like, it's a math teacher.
Because she also lives in our town.
I know.
And went to
too
the same
small of a
parish
town.
we went to. So
she sucks. She's a cunt. I hate her.
And she was a narcoleptic too.
Yeah. She would fall asleep
was
in the middle of the day. I'd go in for extra help. I'd be like, knock, knock. She's fully asleep at her desk. Girl, you can't work.
You can't
work
She'd
here.
be like, come see me in the morning. And it'd be
And
the morning I'd
she'd
come in early to do problems with her. And the problem was she was asleep at her desk.
And the problem is that she would she was the only teacher I would ever encounter that would take out a ruler and measure my skirt.
Yeah.
I'm like, sorry that I literally want to show a little bit of knee in a God-honoring way.
There were definitely some people who wanted to show a little bit of ass in their skirt. And
Sorry.
like, sorry, I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Also, this is a big qualm I have. Mrs. Quam? Love.
Shout out.
Shout out Miss
Love.
Quam. Loved her.
I never had her.
You never had Kwame, girl?
No, but she and I bonded.
Oh, she one time came to see, I was in a community theater production of Rent, and I played a lesbian.
She's our theology teacher.
I know. I had to make out with another like girl, and I had to like there was like sex scenes and shit, and then she came and saw it. It was like, I loved it. I was like, pop off, Kwame
Pop
girl.
off.
Love her. Did you have a favorite teacher?
I did. Trost.
Oh my god,
Okay,
yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, for context, my favorite teacher was my track coach. So like I spent a lot of time with her.
She did not like me.
No comment.
No, she did not. She did not like me. Probably because she'd be teaching about like the history. She'd be teaching about the French Revolution. And I was like Les Mis?
No.
And then she's like, get this fucking idiot out of my class.
Yeah. No. She was a cool girl. Cool lady.
Yeah, she means business.
Means business. But you know?
I would like let her protect me from like a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, like if there was like if it was the end of the world and I could only have 2 people, she'd be one of them.
Yeah, her and like Mrs. Barbaro.
Yeah.
I feel like Mrs. Barbaro could like roundhouse kick somebody.
Both of them are my track coaches.
There you go.
And that's why I am the way that I am.
I obviously am very partial to the performing arts. Considering that
It's funny though that you and I are as good friends as we are, because I think we're polar opposites in so many ways. Like,
well,
I had stage fright and you were in the school
no,
musicals.
you're a great public speaker.
Now.
Yo, you were back then. Were you one of those Super Six? Were you a Super Six?
No. I was not a senior Super Six.
Neither was I. The Super
Out
Six.
to get you. You
The
know who
Super
you are
Six.
who made the list of the Super Six, and it was not Julia and I who were on the list.
No, and it was a couple of freaks. No. The
People
Super
who
Six
were the
was-
senior Super Six are sitting there like,
So because Mercy's a private, because our Catholic school is private, you have to like market it, and so they picked like 6 seniors that they would like completely make over and give them like brand new spanking uniforms.
it was a marketing thing,
and they had to
for
wear
sure.
like blazers and stuff. It was really fancy, and then they would go with like the marketing team and whatever to like other schools and like conferences and stuff to talk about how great Mercy was. And it was like these they're always like super pretty poised girls in blazers, and they're like, well, my education helped me cultivate my talent.
A blazer a day in the life.
No,
like
no one wore
never.
a blazer.
I was lucky if I
I've never
wore
seen
what
anyone wear
was
a
my
blazer.
uniform sweatshirt to class. Like,
I was lucky if I was wearing something that wasn't Crocs.
yeah, you wore a lot of Crocs, and then it was funny. Okay, this is a story you have to tell, because they banned Crocs our senior year.
Yeah.
Which felt targeted because it was just Julia.
It was
who wore
super
Crocs.
targeted. It was super targeted. It was
Julia wore
it
yellow
was actually
Crocs.
pretty discriminatory. They banned Crocs.
People
They
were
banned
falling
Crocs
down the stairs.
the same year. So happens that I was elected the vice president of the class. And so when it came time for me to address my people at Spirit Day, I said, who here's ready to croc and roll? And everyone was like, fucking yeah, bring back the Croc. And then I was looking right at the principal, and I was like, this is the year we bring back Crocs. And then they didn't. My efforts were in vain.
Yeah. That's okay.
No, I loved the people that worked at Mercy, and I still keep in contact with many of them.
Yeah. No, I think that's one of like the cool parts.
Gizzy's in like my speed dial. Love her.
Yeah.
Queen.
No, and I feel like it's one of those things too. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's a little weird to know everything about like a teacher who teaches you like
it's like
personal
now I have so
life.
much more respect for
but
you.
I have so much more respect for you, and also I know how to talk to adults, and I've met a lot of people at our current age who don't know how to talk to adults.
I agree.
They don't know how to carry a conversation. And I think you and I would be like, tell me about your biggest fear if we met someone just now who was an adult.
I know. There's downside to it being so small, because there were scandals that like rocked me to my core.
Yeah.
It was like,
and
I know
also,
who's
like,
sleeping with whose boyfriend and who was fucking
if
this
there
person.
was a rumor, you knew by midday.
Oh yeah.
You knew by second period lunch what it was.
Also, the wellness center, I don't think I ever explained it. The wellness center was literally a room, my haven, my safe haven. It was a room, like a classroom, that was like,
it was a closet.
it was
a glorified closet with a babbling little
they had like a little fountain in there, and it was like comfy chairs and coloring books and essential oils, and like at any time you could go to the wellness center and like reset mentally. I can't believe that we had this. It was only because there was such a mental health problem at that school, because people would just like break down crying in the hallway, and you'd be like, oh, someone's going away again to the loony bin, and we just like didn't even talk about it. So they were like trying to combat that, and they built a wellness center.
I'm a mess.
Sorry about that. My camera died, but we're back. I think we should say our farewell thoughts about our Catholic high school experience.
Yeah, I think it's like a take it or leave it, and we took some good from it, and that's why we're here now. We're sitting here talking about it. So I think it's like a lot of good memories and a lot of things that maybe should have been a little bit better, but you know, hindsight 2020.
I would just like to say that even though they won't admit it because they can't, I think the nuns that we went to school with are secretly a little bit woke, because I know for a fact that if I got an abortion, Sister Carlene would take me to the clinic. Well,
All right.
I just want to say that there's some flaws, and yeah, we struggle socially with speaking to men.
Don't loop me into this.
And I'll probably be back at my 10-year reunion.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I still also have a sibling who is at this school.
I know you're living it. You're living the
it's
horror.
And it's so so you know, we always come back, right? So you know, I feel very connected still very much to, and you know what, we have friends, we have memories that we take with us. So what more can you ask for?
Right.
What more can you ask for? And a lifetime of Catholic guilt to go with it.
Pande vida, cuerpo del Señor. Thanks for tuning in. We're gonna go have some vodka sodas.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
And
go spend some time with some high school friends tonight.
Go get a drink with your high school friends tonight. Good way to end it. Good way to end it on International Women's Day.
That's why I'm here.
Go hug your local nun.
Go hug your local nun and celebrate the women in your life.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
It's the Pesto Pod, the Pesto Pod, the Pesto Pod.